I'm a big fan of taking people at face value, at their word. When they say something, I don't tend to think that we need to read into it, to read between the lines. We can just accept that this is the authentic opinion of that person, and they were willing to share it with us. And so when Muslim voters vote for Muslims who are running on a 100% Muslim issue ticket, as in the pro-Gaza independent MPs, take them at their word. They are not interested in voting for the British MPs to represent them when they realise they can represent themselves. And Keir Starmer is just importing more of them and having us pay for them to live in rented accommodation because of Serco. I'll cover all this in the podcast tomorrow. And this is just crazy because we're going to end up extending them voting rights, and then they're going to end up voting for the people that they want to see in power. And when in power, those people will just tell us precisely what their intentions are, and I think we should just believe them. Let's take, for example, Anas Sarwar, the leader of the Scottish Labour Party. So not someone who's irrelevant, not someone who hasn't got a chance of power or anything like that. Someone who is literally leading one of the parties of the constituent nations of this country and could end up as the First Minister of Scotland. Well, here's his dad, right? Here's his dad who goes around campaigning with him, and this is him giving a speech in Glasgow about how he thinks that eventually Islamic law is just going to be the rule of everywhere.
And inshallah, time will come that there will be a law in place all over the world that there can be no disrespect to our beloved Holy Prophet Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And lastly, I want to say, as brother Imam Qasim has said, that we love our beloved Prophet more than our parents, than our daughters, than our sisters, than our sons. So there is no way. The message is loud and clear from the people in Glasgow, Scotland, and 1.5 billion Muslims all over the world, that any disrespect to our beloved Prophet and any burning of Holy Quran will be unacceptable, intolerable, and the Muslims will not tolerate this. And inshallah, I am sure that we'll be able to pass the law with United Nations and with European Union that in future, if anybody commits this crime, they will be prosecuted and brought to justice. And
So, I mean, I take his word that this is genuinely what he wants. This is genuinely how he feels. I don't think that in any way he is concealing anything here. I think this is a true expression of what he would like to turn this country into. And his son wants to make sure that Islam is paramount in schools and in the state.
We will only truly get real power if we just have more Pakistanis sitting in council chambers and parliaments, but actually having more Pakistanis and South Asians sitting in the corridors of power making the decisions. And that's where I'll end tonight, is to say the change is coming, and the days where our South Asian community are viewed as a vote bank or a curry bank are well and truly gone. The days where South Asian communities get to lead political parties and get to lead countries is now upon us. The days when South Asian communities get to decide not just which school our children go to, but what they are taught in those schools is also coming.
I mean, that's just terrifying, isn't it? As if Muslims and South Asians don't have their own country. I mean, where is he talking about? You've got Bangladesh, you've got India, you've got Sri Lanka, you've got Pakistan, you've got wherever, right? You've got a bunch of countries, which is where they have come from, but now leading countries means leading Western countries, as in he wants Pakistanis to become the people who occupy the positions of power in Britain. And just call me crazy, but I don't like that at all. I don't really see why foreigners should be able to hold positions of elected authority in this country. I don't care that some of their community live here. This is not fundamentally the country they think of themselves as belonging to. And you can tell because they literally say, we are South Asians, as in they literally refer to themselves as being from somewhere else. That's how they self-identify. So Don't give me any of this, like, they've integrated crap or they're really British or anything like that. They don't describe themselves like that. They describe themselves as coming from somewhere else. They say, I am a Pakistani. I want to see Pakistanis governing over Scotland, governing over England, running English and Scottish schools. And it's like, okay, but I don't want that. Why would I want that? Why do I think it would be better for me and my children to have foreigners in positions of power above them? Especially given, and I'm not going to pull a punch here, how disgustingly corrupt South Asian countries are. Why would I want that? Why would I think that those people would govern well here? Why would I think they wouldn't be nepotistic and corrupt? Why would I think they wouldn't be acting purely out of self-interest? Why would I think they would govern with the best interests of my community at heart? I really have difficulty fathoming what possible mindset you would have to think, oh, this is all completely neutral, right? His father's like, no, we're going to get Islamic law put everywhere so that you can't criticize the Quran, you can't burn a Quran, you can't do this, that, and the other, because we've got a weird love of our Prophet Muhammad. And then his son's like, we are going to claim positions of power. Well, what kind of agenda do I think he's going to enact? Why would I think that he is not going to enact precisely the agenda that is being enunciated by his father? Why would I think the apple has fallen far from the tree? And frankly, I can't think of a single compelling reason to think otherwise. I mean, someone might be like, okay, well, that's racist. It's like, okay, but is it wrong? They might say, well, you don't know that. I'm like, no, I don't know that. I'm making an inference. I am taking a guess, but I think the guess might be accurate. And actually, for my own safety and the safety of my children and hopefully grandchildren, I think it might be wiser to err on the side of caution because, hey, I might be wrong. But what if I'm right? What if actually these people do have a purely Islamic agenda? They have no concern for the native cultures of these islands and have no interest in continuing our traditions and seem to actually want to supplant them with their own. What then? What do we do? Do we just allow this to continue? Or do we do as the Scottish police have decided to do and just recruit them and put them straight into the positions of power above us? So we have Muslim MPs, and then we have Muslim police patrolling the streets. I mean, how could this possibly go wrong? Let's listen to this.
I'm privileged to hold another bit of a title. I'm the executive sponsor for the Scottish Police Muslim Association, and I don't know whether any colleagues are still in the room. But what I'm going to say, without this sounding like a recruitment pitch, is that's a very small number of officers in Scotland, and it would be remiss of me not to take the opportunity to say, and actually be a realist, the challenge that you and your forefathers and foremothers have faced has probably been against a backdrop of intolerance, of hatred, of challenges. And have they gone? Have they gone completely? The truth is no. But the organisation that I represent is one that wants to be inclusive. It wants to have members of all the communities that it serves, because we serve you. And if Sir Ian Livingston were here tonight, he would remind us of a Pelian principle that we are just citizens in uniform. We're sworn officers, and we're sworn to keep you alive, prevent crime and detect crime, regardless of people's faith or origin. So we need people from your community, our community, to join the service. So that's the recruitment bit over. We are taking on recruits as we speak.
So we want more Muslims in the police force because otherwise intolerance or danger or something like that. And it's like, okay, hang on a second. You move to a foreign country. Do you expect to be part of the police? Or do you expect the people in that country to be the police? I mean, if I moved to like Uganda or wherever, I wouldn't be like, right, okay, where's the English representation in your police force, bro? I'd be like, well, I would expect the Ugandans to have a Ugandan police force. Same with the politicians. Why is it I would think I would be given political power over that country? And why would I think that they would be like, yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure you're not going to do it to use it to enrich your own group or anything. I'm sure there's not going to be a kind of two-tier police system where, like, if a Muslim guy does something and an English guy does something, who do the police care most about? I mean, I just don't see how you can come to a conclusion where this is just normal, right? To put Muslims in charge of Scotland, to put Muslims in charge of the police and in the police in Scotland or in England or in anywhere else. and be like, yeah, so this is just a normal thing that everyone does. And it's like, okay, well, how many English politicians are there in India or in Pakistan? And if the answer is 0, which it is, the question is, why is that? And the answer is they just decided to kick us all out during the 20th century. No ifs, no buts, and no civic nationalism involved. They didn't need to ask, well, was this person born in the country or not? Well, they're just as Indian as we are. No, Rudyard Kipling was an Englishman to them, because even though he was born in India, he was born from English parents. So out he went, and they know that that's the way that this all works. And if that's what they did back in their own home, and this is the sort of attitude they're bringing in now, why are we approaching this with a very blasé, laissez-faire, live and let live? Surely these people won't just make sure that we don't have access to power in future if we just hand over political power to them. Why would we do this? Why are we giving up our inheritance to people who have countries of their own? I don't mind them living here. I'm not even saying that none of them could ever be elected. What I'm saying is we need to be cautious here. And we need to think about the ramifications of what we're doing. Because, let's be honest, these places are not the most liberal of places. And the people in these places are what make them what they are. And so I just don't think these people are going to create the kind of liberal paradise you're looking for. I think they might try and turn us into a caliphate because, I mean, this guy literally seems to be saying it, and this is his son. So why would I think that it would be any different? And for some reason, they're already, these people are already in control of the Scottish Labour Party. Well, what stops them from gaining control of any other parties? Do we think that they're just, I mean, the reason he wanted to take control of what was taught in the schools is so he can impose an Islamic education on the children, right? I don't think it's an unfair statement or an unfair assumption. Why are we giving up that which is ours to a foreign group that we have allowed to come here in still relatively small numbers? Because, I mean, Americans were like, see, but the Muslims are between 6 to 7% of the country. They're really a very small constituency. Why are we giving over power to them? I just don't understand it. And I don't see what the purpose is, and I don't see why it would be good for us to do so. And the thing is, I think that this sort of nervous police officer, oh, please accept me, is generally quite snide. It's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. Guys, I'm an anti-racist. You're not going to call me a racist now, are you? Dude, they're gonna just use you to get what they need, and then you'll be replaced. You'll just be voted out in the same way that Labour MPs were in England. They imported the constituency and then they just voted for Muslims. This is going to happen to Wes Streeting. This is going to happen to Jess Phillips. This is going to happen to, I think it was Lisa Nandy as well, and just a bunch of other ones, where they're like, the Muslims are realising, well, actually, we don't have to vote for Labour. We can vote for our own, and we will. And what will our own do? Well, I think it's actually not very much of a secret what they'll do when they gain control. So why are we allowing this? And as far as I can tell, the best defense from the left is it's not really happening. You're misinterpreting this. And I'm like, no, I don't think I am. I think we can just take them at face value.